Oh yeah, welcome everybody to another edition of Outside Looking In. My name is Brucenegrin, and this is the program that talks about the issues that emanate from Montgomery County and beyond. So what's going on? I'm not going to lie to you. I'm doing this podcast, and I'm troubled. I'm going to be like a lot of other people out there. You know, it seems to be avant-garde to talk about what's going on in the United States, but I think you have to. And especially if you go back and listen to remarks from this show from, I don't know, about 3, 4, 5, 7 months ago, 6 months ago when Trump got elected. You know, there was something that I said, and it stuck out in my mind. You know, I was worried. All these people, it's like the hyperbole over Trump. It's like, oh, you know, people are going to come out of the hills with torches. You know, and I said that. I said, if people come out of the hills with torches, with racist comments and kill the Jews and the blacks and everything of that sort, I said, I'll be the first one on the line to fight them. And you know what? It happened. It happened. They came out of the hills. Dressed, you know, immaculately, some of them, most of them. Polo shirts and khakis, carrying torches. Coming out of the hills right through the University of Virginia, saying the Jews won't replace us, white lives matter, all of that kind of stuff. Man, what is going on? That is unacceptable. You know, I haven't taken a political slant on this show in a while, and I'll tell you, I'm fiscally conservative, I'm socially, I don't want to say liberal, I'm in the middle. I believe in people having their rights. I believe in people being able to live free. I believe in people not being bothered by other people and opinions and being pushed around. If you're a good person, that's how I think you should be judged. It's so easy to say this kind of stuff, but when it comes down to push or shove, that's the way it's got to be. To hate someone because of the color of his skin, that is just absolutely unacceptable and ridiculous. If this guy pushed you off the swing and he's a black guy, then fine, I get it. You don't like that guy. You're not damning a whole race. I don't get it. I really don't. I mean, born in 1968. My school was integrated, so everything was, you know, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sit here. It was different. You know, your first thing coming out of a nursery school into an elementary school, from all white to, you know, like 20% black. You know, it was different. But then in New Rochelle, we grew up, and I guess I grew up in an area where black and white mixed enough. That's the difference about the Northeast as well. It's because you can't get on a subway train without seeing, you know, someone in New York. You can't get on a subway train without seeing someone of a different race or different creed. It's just impossible. You would have to isolate yourself. You'd have to be in a bubble with a blinders on. Because it's absolutely impossible in New York City. When I went down to Atlanta, Georgia, different story. You know, they talk about across the tracks. Atlanta, Georgia had to cross the tracks. That was for sure. There was no real mixing of anybody. At least not on a daily basis. But New York City's a different example. I don't know what I'm going on this. All I know is that when people come out of the damn hills with torches telling you about white supremacy or anything of that sort, it's just not hate. Let's stop the words about hate. Oh, they're spreading hate. No, it's evil. It's evil. Let's get down to evil. You know, there is nothing good when you start talking about Nazis and Hitler and Hitler salutes and Heil and all of that nonsense. There's nothing good about it. It's a warped mind. You could be a white guy and want your rights, and you don't freaking praise Hitler. You don't walk around. I mean, because now you're talking about a lawlessness. If I don't get what's mine, I'm going to burn your house. I'm going to create a mob mentality. It is unacceptable. And you know what's unacceptable is the president, Donald Trump. Boy, are you out of your mind? How dare you in 3 days change flip-flop to flip-flop to flip-flop? You know what? Out of office, you're not able to handle this. You're worried about your base. Your base of alt-right. You won't call people alt-right. All day you've been damning people to say it's Islamic terrorism. You know, I mean, I don't know, it's semantics. Eric Holder came out with a tweet the other day saying what happened in Charlottesville, Virginia, where the woman got run down by a car as domestic terrorism. You know, I mean, we're splitting hairs on that kind of talk. Splitting hairs. I mean, that's hate and that's evil. That's just flat out evil. Let's call evil what it is. Evil is evil. Killing people, hurting people, wanting to damn people, to step on people is evil. It is not inherently right. There is something inherently wrong with it. And hate speech, it's evil. Let's cut to the core. It's just not hate speech, it's evil. You know, people came down from the hills. I was in Charlottesville, Virginia the week before all this happened with my son Ryan, so I got a perspective of what's going on here and how it happened and what in the streets, etc., in the pedestrian mall. You know, I'm not saying, I was there, I know much better, but I have a perspective of how ridiculous and how unbelievable this is. Fear. No one should live in fear. Do you understand that? When people live in fear, then it's evil. And outspoken, across your chest, waving banners, evil. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And what's happening now is political discourse, right? It's not discourse anymore. How you come into a rally, ACLU, right? And I'm not giving them a hard time, but the ACLU said, we're going to put up with this alt-right march because it's freedom of speech. It is not freedom. It is not protesting when you're carrying clubs and shields and you come with spraying chemicals on people. What the hell is going on? And the president not to say anything about it. What the hell is going on? Yeah, I'm upset. I really am upset by this. And I just don't understand it. And it's the first time I've had a chance to really espouse my feelings on this. I mean, no matter what kind of bias you have, is your bias really to club somebody over the head because they're a different color? They're a different religion? I think you need some help if that's the case. You need a lot of help if that's the case. If you can't control your anger that much because, what's being taken away? What happened in the election is that, obviously what happened is that white people, and I hate talking like this because I am a white person, I don't want to be the bleeding heart liberal. I'm down on being white. My white privilege, my white guilt. You know what? I'm a person. I don't have that guilt. I'm struggling along just like the rest of you. But it's just unbelievable. It is unbelievable what's happened. People came down from the hills. That's scary. That's stuff that I read in textbooks. That's stuff, birth of a nation kind of stuff. It's unacceptable. And the president, you better wise up. If your base is the alt-right, then who are you leading? Are you really that racist or are you that dumb? Where did it come from, Trump? Where did all of this come from? In New York? These whispers, were they there before? I've never heard the whispers about Trump being a racist. Because if he's not, then he's just flat out dumb. If you're going to go to one side and call Islamic, extreme Islamic or Islamic extremism, which I am for at times when it is the right time, then you got to call this what it is. You can't empower people like this. You can't empower clubs and shields in the street. What's going on right now is that there's no civil discourse. There's no civil anything. Civil is a word that's out. When you come to a protest, and I don't want to just go on the alt-right side here. And this is, I guess, where I get in trouble, right? But there are professional protesters out there coming with chemical weapons. Spraying chemicals on each other. People are ready for war. There's something wrong. People are ready for war. This isn't protest. This isn't the 1960s. This isn't hearing your voice. The National Guard years before was there to protect, so supposedly, right? You could have people talk about Kent State or whatever, but it wasn't one-on-one clashes. It wasn't clashes. These guys are looking to fight in the street. And as a president and as a leader of the country, you have to put a stop to this. You can't let this happen. You can't let this happen. I mean, you got the anti-fascists who are ready to battle the fascists. I mean, what's going on? We're all talking about Venezuela. How can this happen in Venezuela? Oh, it's terrible, you know. Oh, the fascist dictators there, or dictators, and blah, blah, blah. It's, well, hey, this is where it starts. And I don't want to be the one burying my head in the sand. You know, I said this stuff about Trump. I said, oh, I doubt people will come out of the hills. They frickin' came out of the hills. I cannot ignore that personally. To me, myself, and I cannot ignore that. I don't like what happens. I don't like what's going on. I don't like that there's a protest in Charlottesville, Virginia, and people from New York are there. They know it's coming. We're going to fight this. I mean, you got to fight with the fight. You got to protest with the protest. But I mean, seriously, coming with clubs and shields and helmets and all of that kind of stuff. And isn't it great? Isn't it great? Charlottesville, Virginia has to say, this doesn't represent us. The people who made the tiki torches that the damn people brought down from the mountains, as tiki torches, we don't represent the alt-right. You know, I mean, everyone's got to make a disclaimer now. The Detroit Red Wings, by the way, somehow their symbol got brought into the alt-right side, into the fascist side. I don't even want to call it alt-right. I mean, you're throwing up Nazi signals. You're a freaking Nazi. I can't put up with that. I refuse to put up with that because back, you know, I tell my kids World War II is different than anything else because it was good versus evil. It's not just hate, it's evil. That's what I want to espouse to you. That's what I want to tell you. It's evil. And when evil takes root, you know what happens. It's happened before. Look at history. Don't let it repeat itself. Hate speech, there's different things. There's a lot of hate. I have hate. I'm yelling and screaming, I got hate. But I don't think any of my hate is evil. I'm not out there looking to change someone's life, to hurt them, to get rid of them, to think that someone's taken what I have. You know, I mean, and Donald Trump, you better get with it, man. You better get with it. Every day, you're so worried about all this nonsense that you let this stuff. This is your social issue, buddy. This is where you're going to be judged on. It's time for you to step up. In 24 hours, you had 3 different takes on the same thing. Good people. I saw some good people. Oh, there were good people on both sides. What are you... I mean, seriously, I've never wanted to curse so much. What are you, nuts? What are you, nuts? You know, we could talk about the Nazis and the alt-right and all that stuff, but there's people on the liberal side too. I don't even say the liberal side. I don't even know what side this is. But they're ready to fight too. And they're not spreading an ideology that's any better for us than the alt-right. We got to stop this extremism. It starts in Congress. It starts everywhere. Everybody just wants to antagonize somebody. That's all it's about, is an antagonizing. It's not about debating anymore. It's about antagonizing, belittling. This is going to be a stretch, but it's a case in point, right? Everybody met in Charlottesville at Lee Park. It was Lee Park for Robert E. Lee, for all these things. Now it's Emancipation Park. There's nobody in Charlottesville, Virginia worthy of being named of that park. I understand why you don't want to call it Lee Park, but you got to call it Emancipation Park? Really stick it to everybody? You're like, Bruce, where are you coming from on that? What I'm coming from on that is you took one extreme and went to the other. Oh, it's Lee Park. He enslaved everybody. Well, now it's Emancipation Park. Seriously, can't it be for the civil worker who was there cleaning the streets for 55 years, who did his daily job? Let's honor him. Emancipation Park. Freedom fries instead of French fries. You got to be kidding me. What is going on? Go home and think about it. My name is Bruce Negrin. The program's called Outside Looking In, and I'll be back next week.